And we are live. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to Heartland Farms. I have Stephanie with us today. And we're talking about a quick update on our homestead and, of course, homeopaths for back to school. So, Stephanie, what's going on with your first? Let's just touch base on our homesteads. Stephanie, what's new with your homestead?
So, we have 2 more ducks now, and they're big enough to kind of be roaming around the yard. But one has gone missing, and I'm not really sure what to do about that. But I don't know. I had a hole in my fence, so I think something might have been able to get in and get out. But I repaired that hole as soon as I found it. My mom actually was looking around the yard. She goes, there's like something wrong with your fence. So I think maybe something carried her off, but I know, so I don't know, but we have the 2 other ones now, and they're big enough to roam around the yard, and the one male duck, because I had 2 Roans, and so the female, of course, the one that would lay the eggs is gone, but he was very protective of the little guys, and so he would kind of stay around them where I had them out in the back. I had them in like a little enclosure because they just weren't quite big enough, but now they're roaming around, and they love him, and he's just, they're just like a little group. So yeah, they're doing better. Quail, I have too many males, and hey buddy, my son is also excited about all of our animals, but so I have a lot of males, and I think we might just need to cook quite a few and then try to hatch a new group of females. So the heat took some of mine when the power went out because I used to have a fan on them. So, but that's, other than that, they're doing okay. No, sir, Mama's talking. Thank you. We be patient. So, yeah, but other than that, and our tomatoes are struggling with the heat, but I have a cover for them. I'm using Carbo Veg and a 30X to kind of keep them going. But, yeah, it's just going. It's just hot still. What about you guys?
Oh. I'll just provide quick updates later. My daughter, who was quiet up until this point, is crying. So how about let's start talking about homeopaths? Do you want to talk about some good back to school homeopaths?
Yeah, definitely. She's so sweet, by the way. Oh my goodness, I love her pictures. Just she's so precious. So yeah, Ashley asked me to talk about homeopathy for back to school, and yeah. Sure. No. So one thing that I've been doing the past few years is studying homeopathy, and I'm in an institution now where I'm at a school, Ontario College of Homeopathy or of Homeopathic Medicine.
I'm looking up here to get my purple toy.
Mama's talking. Okay, Mama's talking.
I have to get my purple.
But
up there.
one thing they train homeopaths to. Sorry, I'm gonna mute myself too, Ashley. You talk about your homestead.
All right, so quick updates on our homestead. So we had the sheep, and unfortunately, we had one sheep get injured. It ended up shattering its leg, so we had to euthanize the sheep. And then I got a 20-minute degree from YouTube on how to process out a sheep. So that was a lot of fun. We have her aging in the freezer right now. Didn't do quite the best job I wanted to do. And let's see what else is going on. We're kind of wrapping everything up and just getting ready for winter right now. So we're getting our wood stacked. We have more than last year to hopefully get us through April. And we're just kind of, things are winding down. It's starting to get colder.
Nice. I wish it was a little bit chillier down here.
It's 80 today.
That would be so nice. It's like still been in the 90s and like in the hundreds here. I know. Thank you for the kisses. I apologize about that, but you know what? We're free and we're learning and all the things. But
you're mentioning with homeopaths. If you want to.
I can start kind of going through a list. But yeah, I just wanted to, this isn't just kind of a random list. Like, I am in school for homeopathy. This is something that like we study. There's a lot of great resources out there. So, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. But some really great remedies for back to school. Obviously, we're all sharing, school supplies. And with those school supplies comes some like germs and friendly neighborhood viruses and things like that. So One of the two best remedies to have on hand for kind of stuff that starts going around is aconitum and belladonna. So aconitum is kind of like that first exposure, first 24 hours, something comes on fast, and maybe it's like a shock to the system. Even if it's like they've been out like in the cold and then they come back home. So that's all. I use it for a dose of that for that as well. Usually like 200 potency. But aconitum is great for that first exposure. 24 hours, comes on fast, like kind of cough, cold, flu. And you can read more about these. There's some books, and I'll mention some at the end. But aconitum is great. It's one of the first ones that I go to at the beginning stages of a cold when it comes on fast, or flu even. And then with belladonna, it is fantastic for a fever that comes on fast, and there's like flushed face, and there's radiating heat. I see. I've actually used this one on myself because I teach, so I'm around all of these children and simultaneously all of the wonderful germs that they love to share. And so with belladonna, one time I was at work, and it was like getting towards the end of the day, and I was like, man, really started feeling something coming on. And like within a couple of hours, I felt feverish, and I just left. I had to leave. And I went home, and I had a fever, and it was like fairly high. It was like 103. And so I took a dose of belladonna, fell asleep, which is a great indication that a remedy is working. And I use belladonna in a 30C potency. These are highly diluted remedies. We don't just go grab the plant and chew on it. That's not it at all. I can explain a little bit more about that. But one dose of belladonna, I fell asleep. It was a 30C potency, woke up, fever was gone, and I felt so much better. So for a lot of these, like one dose, a lot of times will do the trick. No, no, sir. So anyway, yes, you may have one to draw on. This is the challenge of talking with toddlers. This is another thing. I don't know of a remedy that fixes that, though. I wish I did.
Okay, we have a baby crying over here.
I have some for my patients and my nerves, so that's like. Anyway, all that to say, aconitum and belladonna are great, especially when the fever goes high. And with my son, sometimes his fevers will kind of get up there, and it's like radiating. I can feel the heat radiating from him, and belladonna is beautiful for it. So I love belladonna. Another one that I like is bryonia, and bryonia is really good for
race car.
Bryonia is really good for whenever there's a lot of dryness in the mucous membranes. I kind of picture it like a desert, right? So bryonia, dry, you can think about that. There's usually a dry cough as well, and it's worse with any movement. With bryonia, sorry, my son is wanting a race car, so I'm drawing it and talking to y'all about bryonia. One of the things I think about with bryonia is like they're worse with movement. It's like they just want to like hibernate and stay in one spot. So a dry cough is worse with movement. Anything is worse with movement. They just want to stay still. And then there's and then the dry membranes, and then there's thirst with it as well. So those are some really good ones, especially for like cough, and you can kind of get those keynotes, and there's some great books that you can look at. And I'll send some of those links to Ashley, and then she can kind of send out. Oh, right there? Okay. There, the light is blinking. We're moms, we're multitasking.
That's not the tractor.
Oh, it's not the tractor. So anyway, another one that I think about for this is Heap Bar Sulf. Heap Bar Sulf is really great, especially if you have any sensation of like a stick or something is stuck in the throat, like there's a stick, feeling a splinter feeling in the throat.
Yeah. Start of a sore throat.
Yep. And it's really good for a lot of infections. So like anything that pustulates. So if there's like pus or like some kind of
I want with the ring.
I am so sorry. Please give me 2 seconds.
I know. I really like homeopaths because I've used them with my daughter. When she was in daycare, she got a lot of colds, and it was awful hearing her cough throughout the night. And I would use a homeopath, which is a little bit more naturally oriented, and it would kill the cough, which was nice. It was a very comfort instead of her, so she could get some good night's sleep. I could get some good night's sleep. As a personal experience, one time I woke up and I was coming out with a cough or cold, and I couldn't breathe because the mucus was so thick, and I took a homeopath and cleared it up instantly, and I could go back to sleep. So that's my personal experience with homeopaths.
But
Sorry, we're addressing all sorts of things right now.
I don't know how to do the tractor.
So anyway, heap ourself, like I was saying, heap ourself is great for that like splinter feeling in the throat and kind of that sore throat. And they tend to be chilly. They're kind of chilly patients. One that I like to use for my son, especially because when he gets sick, he kind of presents this way. Pulsatilla is great for kids that are clingy. Yes, they're clingy.
Love Pulsatilla.
Yellow, green discharge.
Yep.
Slimy and clingy, and they just want mama to hold them all the time. And they're the kids where if you're like, oh, you're fine, they're like, okay. But if you maybe like, oh, are you okay? Then they really kind of bring it on because they are playing off of your reaction. So that's a Pulsatilla kid. And it's fantastic. Like my son today actually was struggling with a little bit of nose stuff. And so he took 1 dose of Pulsatilla and it just stopped the flow, and then he would kind of start again and we would use it again maybe in like about an hour or so, and he went straight to sleep. That's a great indication that remedies are working in kids. And I usually personally I stick with the 30C potency. It is really good to find a good homeopath or do your own research. There's some good sources out there. And again, I'll send it with Ashley. Like, please educate yourself on this too, because they're beautiful remedies when they're used properly. Yeah, is great. Really good one for that, especially for moms with teething babies that get colds. This is maybe not really like a back to school one, but like, you know, this kid when you see it, they're the ones that are inconsolable. Nothing makes them happy. They want to be carried, then they don't want to be carried. Maybe they want a toy, then they throw it. They don't want a toy, and they're screaming and they're unhappy, and they're just like nothing is working for them. And it's usually because with the pain, like earaches, they can't tolerate the pain, and so they scream. They can't handle it, and nothing makes them feel better. And what they think will make them feel better doesn't. So they throw it or they lash out. So that's the chamomilla. Very irritable, angry, irascible, incorrigible. Like that's the child. So you'll know when your child needs chamomilla. This is a fun one to read about because you're like, wait a second, we've been there.
Yep, I love chamomilla too.
Oh yeah, I used that for my son when he was teething, and it was awesome, wasn't it?
Hey, look at this, guys.
Yeah. So another one that I like to use for colds, and like, you know, you might have a kid with a runny nose for a little bit, and it's like, okay, it's been 2 weeks. Why isn't it going away? So at the end of a cold, I like Cali Bic. And again, we can put like notes. I'll send Ashley the notes, and there's all sorts of, I'll send all sorts of, thank you, baby. I'll send some notes, but Cali Bic is really great at the end of a cold when you have that ropey, like they can just pull it and it keeps going like ropey green. I know, yeah, it's like, it's yucky boogers, but
I know. I just think of like,
we all got
nose Frida, and then like, I haven't had to use mine yet.
But at least homeopathy gives us something to do with those boogers, right? Like we don't just have to bear it. So, Cali Bic is great at the end of a cold where you just got to clear it out. And it's like that sticky tough. And usually it's like at a spot. They can point to and be like, yeah, it's like right here. You know, that's a Cali Bic state. And then there's sometimes some discharge down the back. And another really good one for the discharge down the back is hydrastis. And hydrastis is that drip down the back, that postnasal drip, and it can cause like irritation. Hydrastis is wonderful. It's amazing for that. And I sometimes use hydrastis in combination with other remedies. So like maybe if I know somebody has the postnasal drip, I recommend the hydrastis maybe on top of, you know, they're taking silica or something to help with the infection to get it out. And so it's a great one. It's just wonderful. Natmer is another one when it starts with sneezing and it's clear watery discharge and they're sneezing, you know, and it kind of starts everywhere. Yep, that's Natmer. That's what we do for that. And then just a couple more on the cough and cold before we go on to some like anticipatory anxiety ones. Can you eat some more dinner and then you can have some? Okay.
No, I don't.
Okay, well then you don't get the applesauce. Sorry, we're just learning all about
I don't need an applesauce. I said.
Sir, no, sir. Excuse me. I'm going to address my son's tongue.
You're good. Yep. No, it's So I do want to kind of take a moment and share that Stephanie also does herbal teas. They are 100% organic herbal teas that she does her own blending for, and these are awesome. Like if you are looking for like the perfect Christmas gift, or if you are looking for a sleepy time tea or something that kind of like you're looking for your own, like something to take like an anti-anxiety tea, I really recommend these. I think I'm on the AD spectrum. I have a really hard time like unwinding at the end of the day, or taking like just relaxing in general. She has an anti or stress, I think it's called stress away tea. That just takes the edge off. I can focus on things better because like it's not as, for lack of a better word, loud. It's just I can focus in on what I need to get done. If I'm actually kind of angsty and I don't really want to go sleep just yet, it's perfect for that as well. It kind of calms me down, gets me ready for bed. My other favorite one is her sleepy time tea, which that will knock out an elephant. It is just awesome. So
Thank you.
I'm actually enjoying one of your teas now. It's the cinnamon and spice. I think it's one of your Christmas ones.
Yeah, it's nice in the wintertime because of the warm blend. So, and it has like cinnamon and it's ginger in it, so it kind of helps just heat up the system. It's great for digestion. I'm so glad that you guys are enjoying the teas. I mean, gosh.
Yeah, no, it might be. I need to get some for Christmas gifts for some family members.
Oh yeah,
and myself, especially myself.
You're like a Christmas present for me. This is also what I need. Listen, you earned it, Mama. Oh my goodness. But yeah, definitely. Where do we go when we want to be loud? That's right. We go over there. If you want, I'm almost done with my list for cold and cough, and then I know we're kind of like just working in between all of these different things, so
You're good.
That loud.
No, this is quiet. That's loud over there.
No,
So anyway, all that to say, another really great one. I have two more. Arsenicum. Arsenicum is beautiful. Arsenicum is great, especially if you feel like you've been poisoned, like food poisoned, with that diarrhea and that, that burning sensation that comes with it. Arsenicum is also great for a head cold, and so it's an interesting symptom where, they want to be all covered up, but the head, they don't want the head covered up. And so there's just interesting sensations with arsenicum that you can read about, and the nasal discharge and like kind of some yellowy, but especially like, worried about like their own health, kind of like that kind of person, finances, they worry about finances a lot. And so some of these you'll find it's kind of a general state, but arsenicum is a really good one, especially if you feel like there's been some poisoning. So maybe if it's like there's been some stuff sprayed in the air and then you have a cold and cough symptom after it, maybe you go to school and they've sprayed or something, then you kind of get like head cold symptoms after.
This all.
Okay, well, can you?
I need to check into that. The governor likes
Arsenicum
from the air.
But it's especially really good in those cases. So I love arsenicum. I keep it on hand, even if I just think I've gotten food poisoning. I'll take a dose because usually it'll even calm that. Because sometimes like your body knows, and it'll communicate to you. You're just like, I wonder if that wasn't
quite good.
Oh my goodness, yeah, you better clean that up if you want to sit there. Yeah, and so sometimes just even that initial dose will kind of alleviate anything and let the body take care of it. And then another one is Sabadilla for the hay fever. Sabadilla is great with the constant sneezing. Like these are the people that like sneeze 10 times in a row and you're like, okay, are you done?
That's my sister.
Yep.
Like I literally don't have any more left. Like a girl will sneeze until the cows come home.
Yeah, she might need some Sabadilla. It's great hay fever. And there's kind of that little itchy palate that goes with it.
Yeah.
Yep. That's Sabadilla. Now, if there's not as much sneezing, but that itchy palate, and maybe like a sore throat or something with it, Wyethia is fantastic. And I mean, I've taken Wyethia for when I have that itchy palate and it's just like my mouth feels irritated, I get a head cold. And I mean, honestly, within a minute, I generally feel better, but we use homeopathy pretty regularly. And like I said, we usually go 30C potency or above. And you're welcome to read about the potencies, but with homeopathy, just kind of as a general, it's a like cures like. So Samuel Hahnemann, you should research him and his research and what he did. It was great, but basically it's based on the idea that a substance that would cause like symptoms will also cure at a low dose. So there's a law in toxicology, the Arndt-Schultz law, that at a high dose, something like belladonna could possibly, if you were just to like eat the plant like they used to dilate their pupils, it would make them incredibly sick, and it could possibly lead to death. But in a moderate dose, it will inhibit, think about an antacid, that's a moderate dose, it's going to inhibit, right? But at a low dose, and this is a homeopathic dosage, it's very specific with how they prepare it in the pharmacy. At a very low dose, it will actually stimulate the body to solve its own problem. So where the body might be coughing, trying to get, what do we do when Mama's talking? What do we do when Mama's talking? If the body's trying to cough, we say, the body's intelligent. Why is it doing that? Let's give it something that's almost like an answer key to help it solve its own problem. And so it stimulates the body to take care of itself. Now, obviously, there are cases where you need to get to the hospital. I'm not saying not to be prudent in that. It is what this is just for kind of the mom at home who's like, we got something going around here. We caught a bug. Maybe we can do something about that on our own, and mamas do their research because, we're here to take care of our kids. But anyway, so those are some really great ones. And I did want to talk about, Ashley asked me, what are some great back to school? And my brain goes, ooh, anticipatory anxiety. Yes, for all of those kids.
Yes, that's a good one. I didn't even think of that.
So we have some great remedies for anticipatory anxiety. Two of which are some of the bigger ones in the repertory. That's where we have a rubric of symptoms, and it's great to look up and read about. Okay, can we let Mama talk right now? Oh, that sounded like that hurt, buddy. You okay? Yep. Also for bumps and bruises, arnica. We just banged our head on the table.
Toddlers are really good at that.
So for anticipatory,
nailed it.
We have a couple of really good ones. No, sir. Lycopodium and gelsemium are the biggest ones, but there are some differences. Lycopodium and gelsemium are both good for anxiety, and especially gelsemium for stage fright or any kind of anticipation, test stage fright where there's trembling.
Mom,
and
I bought me a kid.
I know, you bonked your head, didn't you? And so trembling and weakness and that paralysis can kind of come with a gelsemium. That's a gelsemium state. It's also great for colds and flus where there's a lot of weakness and muscle pain. So I keep that one on hand, especially if they've been overdone.
Okay.
But yeah, gelsemium is great. No, that's not nice. Lycopodium is really great for the child that has, hey, no, sir. Lycopodium is really good for somebody who struggles with confidence, so then they kind of put on a false bravado. So I like to think about Lycopodium as the George Costanza of remedies. Okay. From Seinfeld, if you've ever seen Seinfeld. But basically, with Lycopodium, there's this sense of they like to boss around their inferiors, but they're, thank you for giving me scratches. Thank you. That feels really nice. Well, he's helping me itch my arm because it's itchy.
What a sweet boy. So,
he's being helpful. But anyway, so Lycopodium is where they kind of put on this they're dictators, little dictators. It's kind of what we call the kids that. Yeah, you just bonked your head again, didn't you? That one I think was intentional. I think because we got attention from the last one, so we thought, let's try that again. So, Lycopodium is great, and if there's anticipation, anxiety, but also that comes with some constipation and tummy upset, maybe towards the evening. So from 4 to 8 in the evening, it's really helpful. Lycopodium is for that false bravado, kind of like false confidence, because really they have no confidence in themselves, and so then they kind of put forward a show. But with this also comes anticipatory anxiety. So it's actually, yes, Mama can open it. Thank you for asking so nicely. But yeah, so that's Lycopodium state. And a lot of times there will be constipation that comes with, and almost like a struggle, like a tummy struggle in the afternoon, late afternoon.
Yeah.
So that's kind of one way you can tell the difference. But Lycopodium, great for examination, anxiety. Can we try asking that again?
We can do that.
Thank you. But yeah, so those are some great anticipation anxiety. There's also Argentum nitricum, which it's silver nitrate in a homeopathic form. Research it is fascinating. this is for the person or student, depending, but make sure you do go to a good homeopath and you do your research and you make sure before you give any of these. But it's for the person that is afraid of so much. It's like the what if this? And they also have this weird symptom. I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this, but I've definitely been in an Argentum nitricum state because I tend to be a worrywart. But it's like this weird symptom where it's like, what if I just jumped off this bridge, right? Like that's a weird thing to think about, but like
it is or what if my car just suddenly I lost control and it goes off the bridge?
Yeah.
How am I going to get out?
Exactly. And so they have this weird, but like, what if I just drove off this bridge right now? You're not going to do it, right? But it's just
you're not cognizant of what happens if someone hits you? What happens if you end up in the water and not on the road while you go?
Right. And so it's just this weird little symptom of what if I jumped off this bridge right now? Or what if they're not necessarily going to do that, but it's just like that weird thought, but they're afraid of everything. They're fearful about everything in the what if situations. And that is a great, and especially of heights and afraid of somebody falling from a height. So there are these weird little symptoms that go along with Argentum nitricum that maybe somebody has expressed. And so it's just good to know, And so there are other, even gelsemium has a fear of heights. This is why you go to a good homeopath and you research fully before you take a remedy or you give a remedy. There are some good sources out there. Like I said, that one's broken too. Oh my goodness, gosh, we can't have that, can we? So anyway, we play with the candy corn. We don't eat it because that's a lot of sugar. So they're little people is how we play with them. But why not, right? We can play with the candy corn. So that's it. Argentum nitricum is a really interesting one, and I encourage you guys to research it. I see. Another great one is Coffea cruda for the brain that won't shut off when you're trying to go to sleep. And it's all that just spins and it keeps going. Sometimes with anxiety, sometimes it's the thoughts just won't shut off. But that's almost like you've had too much coffee because this is made from the crude form of the coffee bean. And so this is a great remedy. I've seen it work with people who would stay up all night thinking about stuff that was going on. They couldn't shut off their mind. They were constantly in motion. One dose of Coffea cruda for them was so incredibly powerful. I mean, they were able to sleep and rest. It was wonderful for them. And the thing with homeopathy is you stop taking it once you start doing better because you don't need it anymore. That's the nice part. You don't need it forever and ever. Poppy ate that. Well, that's okay. That's okay. I think Poppy's tummy can handle it. So those are just...
Mom, I can handle one to Poppy, okay?
You can give one to Poppy, yes, sir. And I'm looking at some of the other ones that I have written here, but that was just something that I was thinking about for anticipatory anxiety because how many kids go through that?
How many adults go through that too? I'm I need all of these. Please send me these links.
That's okay. Poppy's in charge of what she wants to eat and what she doesn't want to eat. And I just have a couple others. I was laughing when I was telling Ashley about this. I'm I have one for the first breakup of the year. This is a wonderful remedy for girls whose heart get broken after It's okay when it happens. It's part of life, right?
Yeah.
I see that, buddy. Thank you for telling me. You can set it right there. But Ignatia 200 seeds.
Get out of my way.
Look it up. She just wants to be part of the fun, buddy. Look it up, read about it. It's a wonderful remedy for grief and heartbreak. And especially where it's kind of a hysterical heartbreak where you're just okay, can you please eat something? And it's not
necessarily please eat something.
Because think about it, our emotions affect our physical bodies.
Yeah, they do. And you need food, and food helps with pretty much just that because it increases the hormones that reduce your stress.
Yeah.
Which I can't remember which ones those are.
But you're exactly right. Can you please eat something? You need to eat, but the brain is so busy processing this grief and heartbreak, and it doesn't have to be a silly heartbreak. I mean, I'm saying it in a silly way, you obviously. Oh no! But to be honest, it could be any grief and heartbreak.
Death of a pet.
Loss, but think about how many people they struggle with it, and then they don't know what to do with it. It could be a brother went away to college, and suddenly one of your favorite people in the world is gone. And there's maybe a lump in the throat, moms whose kids have gone off, to college or something. Or maybe a best friend moved to a different school and now you're struggling in your class. And there's also something they call it a globus hystericus. And it's that lump in the throat when you're struggling with grief. And so that's another great remedy for it. But Ignatia is wonderful. Read about it. It's a great heartbreak grief remedy when there's a loss. And it could be from boyfriend from homecoming to, even a death in the family. It's wonderful for. I've seen it do wonders for people that didn't know they struggle to manage it. And it doesn't take it away. It just helps your body know what to do with it, because we do need to learn to process it.
But just sit with you and it doesn't haunt you.
Yeah, and it allows you to be at peace with it. What I'll say is that it gives the body a chance to be able to process it, and obviously process it and be at peace with it. I see
that one, because it's more of an emotional one. You recommend 200, not the 30C, correct?
Yeah.
Just want to clarify the dosage difference.
Yeah. So, and generally with homeopaths, like if it's more of a physical symptom, we recommend 30 and lower. Yeah. And then if it's affecting the mental state, it looks like shark teeth to eat. If it's affecting the mental state, we usually go 200 or higher. And again, it is really good to have a good homeopath or just like research. And I just keep saying this because I don't want anybody to think I'm not replacing a medical doctor. I'm not here to treat and nothing that I say should be taken as replacement for what a medical doctor has said. I'm simply a homeopathy student that wanted to share this really cool things with you. And actually, if you're okay, I have 2 more that I did want to share.
Oh, sure.
So this is kind of like, because another thing that we run into with school starting, and especially new grade levels and things like that, it's overwork, right? Overwork and just kind of overstimulation with the brain. And so 2 of those remedies that I like to use are Caliphos, which is a cell salt. So it's a much less, it's a little bit different. It is a homeopathic remedy, but cell salts are like kind of these like mini salts that your cells can use and kind of help to boost the system. It's a little different than a highly diluted homeopathic remedy. And you can read about Schussler and the salts and how he discovered them. It was really great. But Caliphos is great when the brain, it's like just overworked and exhausted and it's overstudy. And it's just so helpful to kind of put that nervous state. Caliphos is great. Love Caliphos. I keep a 6X of it on hand pretty regularly. And then the other one that I love, this is more of like the party remedy. Like when you've been out, like you've been party hardy, but it's also great for overwork. Oh, I see. Very nice. It is an S. It's Nux vomica. This is, we traditionally call it the hangover remedy. And it's great. But the thing is, hopefully your child isn't hungover. But like, all I have to say is for overwork and being overdone and just anything that is too much. It could be like you ate too much chocolate, to be honest. It's too much. And now you're struggling with like, I just wanted to do more. I wanted to be active, or I was, working too hard, or I'm doing too much. And now it's like my system is struggling. So I use this one pretty frequently because I have like 2 jobs. So, I see. Our middle school that I teach at had a retreat, and I went on the retreat with them as a chaperone. And it was only 1 night long, but it was 2 long days. And I got back and I actually kind of felt sick, and I felt it starting to set in. And I was like, uh-oh. But what remedy did I use? Nux vomica. I was like, this is an overdone state. And within a couple of days, where normally it would take me a long time to recover, within a couple of days, she's right over here, baby. I felt so much better. I was, whatever I was struggling with was kind of starting to go away. And I just love it. I love it. Nux vomica is great. We all have kids that are very like, mine is 3.5, but like a lot of moms have kids that are involved in a lot of stuff and they're overdoing themselves constantly. And it's just a good remedy to have on hand when maybe they've had a really busy weekend with band or something, and maybe they had, or like a track meet or something, and it was just a long weekend with very little rest. Nux vomica is beautiful. And especially when they get to that irritable state of mind and it's just like, you kind of want to like leave the food at the door and back away or something,
right?
Because they're overdone. And there's also constipation that comes with Nux vomica as well. So it'll love that. So those are the remedies that I thought about for back to school.
Perfect. And I can attest, Nux vomica does cure hangovers. couple times. I'm like, you know what? I need some Nux vomica right now.
It's so great. Oh my goodness. I love it so much. And it's got such a wide variety of usage. I used it for my son when he was constipated within the first 2 weeks of his life. It's great for baby constipation and nose like
coughs
sniffles
and-
and oh yeah. It's
I've
amazing.
used it for June. She was a Nux vomica. Pulsatilla, Nux vomica, and Camilla for hers.
Man,
So.
and you know what's interesting is that
Mama,
I see some of these families like the Gelsemium, and I think it could be also the Nux vomica, and they share a family. They're in the same like class, the same family of plants.
Okay.
So it's interesting, like how
That's really interesting.
oh yeah, it's so cool to read about this. Oh no, I really appreciate your attitude change, buddy. Thank you. But yeah, so these are just some great remedies I have on hand. A couple books that I recommend. Miranda Castro.
I love her book.
Oh yeah, the complete.
That's the one I use. It's very, very helpful, very thorough.
Oh, it's amazing.
Easy to read too.
Yeah, I mean, and I still like even as a student in like college for homeopathy, I still go to her book so regularly when I'm having to treat myself. Oh no. Because you know what? She's straight and to the point, and she just has beautiful descriptions, and it helps me to understand exactly what my child needs. And then there's Practical Homeopathy by Benton McCabe. And I think you can get both of these books on Amazon, but his is also very nicely laid out. Like if you're not really sure what's going on, but it just has like nose discharge. Okay, you're hiding it. He's got a couple coins over here. So we're big money man over here.
Ooh.
Nickel and a penny.
So the rainbow gets home.
Okay. So, but he lays it out where even you can go to like the colds and coughs and stuff, but let's say all you have is like a discharge and it's just like green discharge. You can go to a section on discharge and discolorations and it'll show you what remedies to look at. So even if that's all you have to go off of, it'll let you know where to go to look. And so his is really wonderfully laid out too.
That's really cool.
Yeah. Oh, those are your coins. Very good. And yeah, and we don't have any affiliation with them. These are just great self-education books that you can use.
Can I get up there?
Not right now, baby.
Okay.
Are you done? Thank you.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing and doing all this work. I appreciate it. Is there, because you said you're a student of homeopathy. You are close. You're in clinicals now? Is that right?
So I'm in my. Thank you, baby. I'm right now. I'm taking cases for clinics. So I do take cases now. So right now I'm working with a supervisor, and so she's there to supervise for the next few cases. And I think I don't know how many I have left because I've done some with the college themselves, and now it's like my own clinic. But we can do Zoom calls. We do some like in person. It just kind of depends on what each person wants. Kids, adults. It's so much fun. I love it, and just getting to work with people and bring homeopathy and healing into their lives. And it's just options that people maybe don't always realize they have. But I'm not a medical doctor, so hey. Thank you. So, yeah, and I can attest to using it on my son all the time. Like, I love homeopathy. It's so cost effective. It's so much cheaper than having to go, maybe just
doctor every time.
Right, and doctors are great. Like, goodness, sometimes I've been treating my son with homeopathy, but it's been going on a while, and I just want to make sure there was nothing else going on. So I've gone to the doctor to make sure that he was okay, and they were like, "Yep, just keep doing what you're doing." And
he'll get through it.
Yeah.
So, all right, so this one I think needs a diaper change. But thank you so much, Stephanie, for getting on and like sharing those back to school remedies with us. I really appreciate it. Send me the links to those books, and I'll put them in the description. Again, if you want to support Stephanie, she does these awesome teas. A link to her Etsy store is in the description as well, so check it out. If you want to continue to see more content like this, please like and subscribe to Heartland Farms channel. So,
all right, Ashley. It was good to see you.
Good to see you too. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.